Hello and welcome to Storytime for Grown-Ups. This is a bit different than our normal Storytime for Grown-Ups. We wanted to do something special for Christmas, so we all got together and found a copy of A Christmas Carol by C.Z. Barnett, adapted from Charles Dickens' classic, to share for the holidays. And without further ado, our narrator will get us started.
A Christmas Carol, Act 1, Scene 1. Chamber of Scrooge the Miser. One side of it is filled up with a desk and a high stool. The other is a fireplace. Fire is lit. Easy chair, table with candlestick upon it. Scrooge the Miser discovered near fire. Bob Cratchit writing near desk. As the curtain rises, he descends from the stool, approaches fire to stir.
Bob, we shall be obliged to part. You'll ruin me in coals.
Ruin you with such a fire in such weather? I've been trying to warm myself by the candle for the last half hour, but not being a man of strong imagination, failed.
Hark, I think I hear someone in the office. Go, see who it is.
Marley's dead. His late partner is dead as a doornail. If he was to follow him, it wouldn't matter much.
Bob exits.
Marley has been dead 7 years and has left me his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole residuary legatee, his sole friend, his sole mourner. My poor old partner. I was sorely grieved at his death and shall never forget his funeral. Coming from it, I made one of the best bargains I've ever made. Ha! Folks say I'm tight-fisted, that I'm a squeezing, wrenching, grasping, clutching miser. What of that? It saves me from being annoyed by needy men and beggars. So this Christmas Eve, and cold, bleak, biting weather it is, and folks are preparing to be merry. Bah! What's Christmas Eve to me? What should it be to them?
Enter Frank and Bob.
There's your uncle, sir. Old covetous. He's worse than the rain and snow. They often come down, and handsomely too, but Scrooge never does.
Exit Bob.
Who's that?
Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Bah! Humbug.
Uncle, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Come then, what right do you have to be dismal? What reason do you have to be morose? You're rich enough.
Bah! Humbug!
Don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money, a time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer? If I could work my will, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart. He should.
Uncle.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Keep it, but you don't keep it.
Let me leave it alone then. Much good may it do you, much good it has ever done you.
There are many things from which I might have derived good, by which I have not profited, I dare say Christmas among the rest. But I'm sure I've always thought of Christmas time, as it comes round, as a good time, a kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year, when men and women seem by one consent to open their shut-up hearts freely and to think of the people below them as if they were really fellow passengers to the grave, and not another race of creatures bound for other journeys. And therefore, Uncle, though it has not put a scrap of gold and silver in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and so I say, heaven bless it.
Beautiful.
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
He growls like a bear with a sore head.
Bob disappears.
You're quite a powerful speaker. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Don't be angry. Come dine with me tomorrow.
No.
Why not?
Why did you get married?
Because I fell in love.
Because you fell in love. Bah! Good evening.
I want nothing. I ask nothing of you. Well, I'm sorry to find you so resolute. We've never had any quarrel. I've made the trial an homage to Christmas, and I'll keep my Christmas humor to the last. So, a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good evening.
And a Happy New Year.
Good evening.
Enter Bob.
And a Happy Christmas and a Merry New Year to you too, Bob Cratchit.
The same to you, sir, and many of them, and to your wife, and to your darling children, and to all your friends, and to all you know, and to everyone, to all the world.
Exit Frank.
There's another fellow, my clerk, with 15 shillings a week, and a wife and family, talking about a Merry Christmas. I'll retire to Bedlam.
2 gentlemen want to see you, sir, as fat as prize beef. Shall I call 'em in?
Bob goes to the side.
Walk this way, if you please, gentlemen.
Enter Mr. Cheerley and Mr. Hartley with books and papers.
John Marley's. I believe I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Marley.
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years.
At this festive season of the year, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute. Many thousands are in want of common necessaries. Hundreds of thousands are in want of common comfort, sir.
Are there no prisons? And the union workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are still. I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law are in full vigor then?
Both very busy, sir.
Oh, I was afraid from what you said at first that something had occurred to stop them in their useful course. I'm very glad to hear it.
Under the impression that they scarcely furnish Christian cheer of mind or body to the multitude, a few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. We choose this time because it is a time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundances rejoice. What shall we put you down for?
Nothing.
You wish to be anonymous.
I wish to be left alone. I don't make myself merry at Christmas, and I can't afford to make idle people merry. I help to support the establishments that I have named. They cost enough. Those who are badly off must go there.
Oh, many can't go there. Many would rather die.
If they'd rather die, they'd better do it and decrease the surplus population. However, it's not my business, so good evening, gentlemen.
Oh, I am sorry we disturbed you.
As they all are about to leave the stage, Bob approaches them. Scrooge goes upstairs.
Beg pardon, gentlemen. I've got an odd 18 pence here that I was going to buy a new pair of gloves with in honor of Christmas Day, but my heart would feel warmer, though my hands were colder, if it helped to put a dinner and a garment on a poor creature who might need. There, take it.
Such acts as these from such men as you, sooner or later, will be well rewarded.
This way, gentlemen. I feel as light as my 4 and 9 penny gossamer.
Everyone leaves the stage. Scrooge, coming down.
Give money. Humbug. Who'd give me anything, I should like to know?
Bob re-enters.
A letter, sir.
Bob gives it and goes upstairs. Scrooge opens it, reads.
Ah, what do I see? The Mary Jane lost off the coast of Africa. Then Frank is utterly ruined. His all was embarked on board that vessel. Frank knows not of this. He will apply to me, doubtless. But no, why should I part with my hard-gained store to assist him, his wife and children? He chooses to make a fool of himself and marry a smooth-faced chit and get a family. He must bear the consequences. I will not avert his ruin, no, not by a single penny.
Bob coming down.
Please, sir, it's 9 o'clock.
Already? You want all day tomorrow, I suppose.
If quite convenient, sir.
It's not convenient and it's not fair. If I was to stop half a crown for it, you'd think yourself ill-used, I'll be bound, and yet you don't think me ill-used when I pay a day's wages for no work.
Christmas comes but once a year.
A poor excuse for picking a man's pockets every 25th of December. Oh, I suppose you must have the whole day. Be here all the earlier next morning. Here's your week's money, 15 shillings. I ought to stop half a crown. Never mind.
Thank you, sir. I'll be here before daylight, sir. You may depend upon it. Good night, sir. Oh, what a glorious dinner Mrs. C. shall provide. Good night, sir. A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, sir.
Bah! Humbug!
Bob exits.
So, alone once more. It's a rough night. I'll go to bed soon. That'll save supper.
Takes off his coat, boots, etc., and puts on morning gown and slippers, talking all the time.
It's strange now, the idea of Marley is haunting me tonight. Everywhere I turn, his face seems before me. Delusion. Humbug. I'll sit down by the fire and forget him.
Takes a basin of gruel from hob.
Here's my gruel.
Scrooge sits in an easy chair by the fire, puts on nightcap, and presently appears to doze. Suddenly, a clinking of chains and a ringing of bells is heard. He's aroused and looks up terrified.
That noise! It's humbug! I won't believe it.
The door slowly opens and the ghost of Marley glides in. A chain is around his body and cash boxes, ledgers, padlocks, and purses are attached to it.
How now? What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then? You're particular for a shade. To a shade.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me? Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach makes them cheats. You may be an undigested bit of beef, a fragment of an underdone potato. There's more of gravy than of grave about you, whatever you are.
Ghost, unfastening the bandages around its head.
Man of the worldly mind, do you believe me or not?
I do, I must. But why do spirits walk the earth? Why do they come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirits within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. If not in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world. Oh, woe is me, and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth and turned to happiness.
You are fettered.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link. Is its pattern strange to you? Oh, no space of regret can make amends for one's life's opportunities misused.
But you were always a man of business.
Business! Mankind was my business. Charity, mercy were all my business. All this time of year I suffered most, for I neglected most. Hear me! I am here tonight to warn you that you have a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I'd rather be excused.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first when the clock strikes 1. Look to see me no more. For your own sake, remember what has passed between us.
Binds wrapper around its head once more, slowly approaches the door and disappears. Scrooge follows the phantom towards the door.
It is gone. The air seems filled with phantoms, shades of many I knew when living. They all wear chains like Marley. They strive to assist the poor and stricken, but in vain. They seek to interfere for good in human nature, but they have lost the power forever.
The clock strikes 1. Scrooge staggers to a chair. The room is filled with a blaze of light. The ghost of Christmas past rises through the floor.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me? Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. Your welfare, your reclamation brings me here. Turn and behold.
The stage becomes dark. A strong light is seen behind. The wall of the miser's chamber fades away and discovers a schoolroom. A child is seated reading by a fire.
All have departed but this poor boy.
My poor forgotten self, and as I used to be.
Look again.
A figure of Ali Baba is shown beyond the child.
Why, it's dear old honest Ali Baba. Yes, one Christmas time, when yonder poor child was left alone, he did come just like that.
The figures of Valentine and Orson appear.
And Valentine, his wild brother Orson, too.
Robin Crusoe and Friday appear.
Robinson Crusoe and his man Friday. Poor boy, he was left alone while all the rest were making holiday.
The figures of Ali Baba and all disappear. As he speaks, a little girl enters the schoolroom and approaches the boy.
I am come to bring you home, dear brother. We are to be together this Christmas and be so merry.
She leads him out. Scene fades away.
My sister, poor little Fanny.
A delicate creature whom a breath might have withered. She died a woman and had, as I think, children.
One child.
True, your nephew. Know you this place?
The scene at back is again lighted up and discovers Fezziwig's warehouse.
Why, 'tis old Fezziwig, to whom I was apprenticed. He is alive again. My fellow apprentice, Dick Wilkins, too. Myself, as I was then. But 'tis Christmas Eve there. The happiness he gave at so small a price was quite as much as though it cost a fortune.
The tableau fades away. The stage becomes dark. Enter Ellen in mourning.
I feel as if my years of my life were less. Who is this beside me?
Have you forgotten your early love?
Ellen!
Ebenezer, I come to say farewell forever. It matters little to you, very little. Another idol has displaced me. And if I can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to do, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you?
A golden one. The master passion. Gain alone engrosses you.
I have not changed towards you.
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor. You are changed. I am not. That which promised happiness when we were one in heart is fraught with misery now we are two. How often, how keenly I've thought of this, I will not say. I have thought of it and can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In word? No, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in everything that made my love of any worth or value in your sight. If this had never been between us, tell me, would you seek me out and try to win me now? Ah, no.
You think not?
I would think otherwise if I could. But if you were free today, can even I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? You who weigh everything by gain? Or did you so Do I not know your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and I release you. With a full heart, for the love of him you once were. You will forget all this. You may be happy in the life you have chosen.
She exits slowly.
Show me no more. Why do you delight to torture me?
One shadow more. She whom you resigned for gold, for gain, for sordid ore. She you shall now behold as the tender wife of a good and upright man, as the happy mother of smiling children. You shall see them in their joyous home. Come, thou lonely man of gold, come.
No, no.
I told you these were the shadows of the things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me. Come.
No, no, I've seen enough. Haunt me no longer.
The spirit seizes him. He seizes the cap, presses it upon the spirit's head, who sinks under it and disappears in a flood of light, while Scrooge sinks exhausted on the floor. Scene 2, a street.
It's very odd. I ain't named nothing tonight. Christmas Eve, too, when people's got sich lots of tin, but they takes precious good care of it, 'cause I suppose they thinks if they loses it, they shan't be able to get no Christmas dinner. If I can't prig nothing, I'm sure I shan't be able to get none. Unless this trade mends soon, I must turn undertaker's man again. There is a chance in that honorable calling of a stray thing or two. Somebody comes. I wonder if I shall have any luck now.
Enters Bob.
I shall soon be home. Won't my Martha be glad to see me? And what a pleasant, happy Christmas day we shall spend. What a dinner we shall have. I've got 15 shillings, my week's wages, and I'm determined to spend every farthing of it. Won't we have a prime goose and magnificent pudding, and then the gin and water and oranges, and oh, how jolly we shall be. And Tiny Tim, too. He never tasted goose before. How he will lick his dear little chops at the sage and onions. And as for Martha, my dear Martha, who is a dressmaker and can only come to see us once in about 4 months, she shall have the parson's nose. Let me see. A goose will cost 7 shillings, pudding 5, that's 12. Oranges, sage and onions, potatoes, and gin, at least 3 shillings more. Oh, there will be quite enough money and some to spare.
During this speech, Sam advances cautiously and picks his pocket.
Some to spare. It can't fall into better hands than mine, then.
I have a good mind to buy the goose going home. But then, if it should turn out fusty, I think I had better leave it for Mrs. C. The moment I get home, I'll pop the money into her hands and...
Bob, feeling in his pockets.
What's this? Somebody has been having a joke at my expense. Oh, my week's salary, my 15 shillings, it's gone. I'm ruined, lost, undone. My pocket has been picked. I've lost my Christmas dinner before I've got it. Oh, how can I face Mrs. C and Bob and Martha and Tiny Tim? Oh, what can I do?
Enter Frank.
But my worthy friend Bob Cratchit, how is this, man? You look so sorrowful, and on Christmas Eve, too.
Some of the boys whom I was sliding with on the ice in Cornhill must have done it.
Done it? Done what, man?
Stole my Christmas dinner, my salary, my 15 shillings that your uncle paid me not an hour ago.
That's unfortunate.
Unfortunate. Think of Tiny Tim's disappointment. No goose, no pudding, no nothing.
Tiny Tim shall not go without his Christmas dinner, notwithstanding your loss. No, not you either, nor any of your family, Bob Cratchit. At such a time as this, no one should be unhappy. Not even my old hard-hearted uncle, much less a worthy fellow like you. Here, Bob, here's a sovereign. You can return it when my uncle raises your wages. No thanks, but go and be happy as you deserve to be. Once more, a Merry Christmas to you.
Frank exits.
Here's a regular trump. I wanted to thank him and couldn't find the words. I should like to laugh, and I feel as if I could cry. If Tiny Tim don't bless you for this, my name's not Bob Cratchit. I've lost 15 shillings, and I've found the sovereign. Oh, lowly do. Oh, Mrs. Cratchit. Oh, my little Cratchit. What a happy Christmas day we shall spend, surely. What a pity Christmas doesn't last all year round.
Scene 3, Scrooge's chamber. Scrooge discovered, sleeping in a chair. The stage becomes suddenly quite light, and the ghost of Christmas present discovered. The wall at the back, covered with ivy, holly, and mistletoe, heaped upon the floor, almost to form a throne, are turkeys, geese, plum puddings, 12 cake, and more.
Know me, man? I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me.
Scrooge rises, approaches, and gazes at the figure.
You've never seen the like of me before.
Never.
I have never walked forth with the younger members of my family, meaning, for I am very young, my elder brothers, born in these latter years.
I'm afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,800.
A tremendous family to provide for.
The spirit rises.
Spirit, conduct me where you will. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it. Why do you carry that torch?
To sprinkle the light and incense of happiness everywhere, poor dwellings most.
Why to poor ones most?
Because they need it most. But come, touch my robes. We have much to see.
As Scrooge approaches nearer to him, the scene changes. Scene 4, a bleak and barren moor, a poor mud cabin. The second spirit and Scrooge enter.
What place is this?
A place where miners live, who labor in the bowels of the earth. They know me. See?
As he speaks, the window is lighted from within. The spirit draws a Scrooge to window.
What seest thou?
Cheerful company, assembled round a glowing fire. An old man and woman with their children and children's children, all decked gaily out in their holiday attire. I hear the old man's voice above the howling of the wind upon the barren waste. He's singing a Christmas song, while all swell out the chorus.
Come, we must not tarry. We will to sea. Your ear shall be deafened by the roaring waters.
To sea? No, good spirit.
Look, see yonder sultry lighthouse built on a dismal reef of sunken rocks. Here, we men who watch the light have made a fire that sheds a ray of brightness on the awful sea, joining their horny hands over the rough table where they sit. They wish each other a Merry Christmas and a can of grog, and sing a rude lay in honor of the time. All men on this day have a kinder word for one another on such a day. But come on, on!
As he speaks, the scene changes. Scene 5, drawing room in Frank Freehart's house. Frank, Caroline his wife, Mr. Cheerley, and male and female guests discovered. Some are seated on a sofa on one side, others surround a table on the other side. Scrooge and the spirit remain on one side.
Oh, yes, my friends. My uncle said that Christmas was a humbug, as I live, and he believed it too.
Or shame for him.
He's a comical old fellow. However, his offenses carry their own punishment.
He's very rich.
But his wealth is of no use to him. He don't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he is ever going to benefit us with it. I'm sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers his ill whims? Himself. He loves a good dinner, pleasant moments, and pleasanter companions than he can find in his own thoughts or in his moldy chambers. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him. If he finds me going there year after year saying, Uncle Scrooge, how are you? If only it puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk 50 pounds, that's something. And I think I shook him yesterday. Well, he's given us plenty of merriment, so here's to his health. Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to him, wherever he is.
Spirit, their merriment has made me so bright and gay that I could almost pledge them in return and join in all their innocent mirth.
A servant enters and gives a letter to Frank, then exits. Frank opens it and reads.
What do I see? The vessel lost at sea that bore my entire wealth within her. Then I'm a lost and ruined man.
No ill news, I hope, Mr. Freeheart.
The stroke is sudden and severe, but I will bear it like a man. Why should I damp the enjoyment of all those with such a tiding? No, it is Christmas time. I will not broach such bad news now, not at least tonight. All shall be happy, nor word of mine make it any otherwise. Come, friends, let's have a merry dance, shall we not?
A dance, a dance.
Short country dance in which Scrooge joins without being observed by the rest. Towards the conclusion of it, the spirit advances, draws Scrooge back from the group. A bright glow lights up the scene as the spirit and Scrooge sink through the stage unnoticed by the groups. End of Act 1.